Stay away from my husband Maya, pointing at Vanessa. Wait, you said I was the only one. You were until my wife came back. Your wife? Yes, the one you helped me forget is back to remind me who I really am. So what does that make me? My biggest mistake. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this story. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing stories like this. The city lights shimmered through the glass walls of the penthouse. Everything about the place screamed luxury. Italian marble floors, gold-accented furniture, and a view that stretched across the skyline like a king's dominion. Vanessa stood by the window, a glass of red wine in her hand, smiling to herself. She had made it. Not long ago, she was just another struggling woman trying to survive in a world that never played fair. Now, she was living in the home of one of the most powerful men in the city, Adrian Cole. Rich, influential, untouchable, and most importantly, hers, or at least, that's what she believed. Behind her, the bedroom door opened. Adrian stepped out, adjusting his cufflinks, his presence commanding as always. Still awake? He asked, his voice smooth, almost distant. Vanessa turned slowly, her lips curving into a confident smile. I was waiting for you. Adrian glanced at her, then at the clock. It's late. You should sleep. Vanessa's smile faltered, just slightly. That wasn't the response she expected. She walked toward him, her heels clicking softly against the marble floor. I barely saw you today, she said, gently placing a hand on his chest. You've been distant lately. Adrian didn't move, didn't react, didn't even look at her hand. I've been busy, he replied flatly. Vanessa let out a soft laugh, trying to lighten the mood. You're always busy. That's not new. Still nothing. Her expression hardened just a little. Adrian, talk to me. He finally looked at her, but the warmth she was used to, gone, replaced with something colder, something unfamiliar. There's nothing to talk about, he said. Vanessa stepped back slightly, that tone. She had never heard him speak to her like that before. Did I do something wrong? She asked quietly. Adrian sighed, running a hand through his hair. Vanessa, not everything is about you. That hit, hard. She blinked, caught off guard. I didn't say it was. But you always make it that way, he interrupted. Silence fell between them. Heavy, awkward, uncomfortable. Vanessa clenched her jaw, trying to keep her composure. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. Not after everything she had done. Not after everything she had sacrificed. Where is this coming from? She asked, her voice tighter now. Adrian walked past her, heading toward the bar. I just need space. Space. That word echoed in her mind like a warning bell. Vanessa turned sharply. Space? From me? Adrian poured himself a drink, ignoring the tension in the room. From everything. She laughed again, but this time there was no warmth in it. Interesting. He took a sip, still avoiding her gaze. Vanessa crossed her arms. You didn't need space when you were begging me to stay. Adrian froze, just for a second. But she saw it, and she knew she had struck something. She stepped closer. Or have you forgotten that already? She pressed. Adrian slowly turned to face her. I haven't forgotten anything. Good, she said quickly, because I haven't either. Her voice softened, but her words were sharp. I remember how lonely you were, how broken you felt, how she left you. There it was, the name neither of them had said, but both of them were thinking. His wife. Vanessa tilted her head slightly. You told me she didn't matter anymore. Adrian's jaw tightened. I said a lot of things. And you meant them, she insisted. Did I? The question hung in the air like a threat. Vanessa's confidence wavered. Just a little. What's going on, Adrian? She demanded. You're acting like I'm suddenly nothing to you. Adrian didn't answer immediately. He just stared at her, and when he finally spoke, his words changed everything. She's back. Vanessa blinked. What? My wife, he said. She's back. The glass in Vanessa's hand slipped slightly, but she caught it just in time. Her heart began to pound. Loud. Fast. Uncontrollable. That's not funny, she said, forcing a laugh. I'm not joking. Silence. A long, suffocating silence. Vanessa shook her head slowly. No, you said she was gone. You said she left for good. She did. Then why is she back? Adrian looked away. She never filed for divorce. The words hit like a slap. Vanessa stared at him, disbelief written all over her face. So what? That doesn't change anything. It changes everything, Adrian replied calmly. No, it doesn't, she snapped. You chose me. Adrian didn't respond, and that silence, it said more than words ever could. Vanessa's chest tightened. You did choose me, she repeated, this time more desperately. Adrian finally met her eyes, and what she saw there was not love, not anymore. It wasn't that simple, he said. Vanessa felt something inside her crack. Not that simple, she echoed. I gave up everything for you. I didn't ask you to. Her breath caught. Yes, you did, she shouted. Maybe not with words, but you did. Adrian shook his head. You made your own choices, Vanessa. Tears burned at the corners of her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not now. Not in front of him. So what happens now? She asked, her voice trembling despite her efforts. Adrian took a deep breath. I need to fix things. With her? Yes. That was it, the breaking point. Vanessa laughed, but this time it sounded almost broken. So I'm just supposed to what? Disappear? Adrian didn't answer, and that silence, it was answer enough. Vanessa stepped back, shaking her head. No, you don't get to do that. Vanessa, no. She cut him off. You don't get to throw me away like I'm nothing. I'm not throwing you away. Oh, really? She shot back. Then what do you call this? Adrian hesitated, and that hesitation confirmed her worst fear. Vanessa's eyes darkened. You're choosing her. Adrian didn't deny it, and that was all she needed to know. Vanessa stood there, her mind racing. This wasn't over, not even close. If Adrian thought he could just walk back into his wife's life like nothing happened, then he clearly didn't know her. Not really, because Vanessa didn't lose. She never had, and she wasn't about to start now. She wiped her tears quickly, straightening her posture. By the time she spoke again, her voice was calm, too calm. Okay, she said. Adrian frowned slightly. Okay? Vanessa nodded. If that's what you want, I won't stop you. Something about her tone made him uneasy. You're taking this better than I expected. Vanessa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Why wouldn't I? Adrian studied her carefully. You're not angry? Oh, I am, she said softly, just not in the way you think. A chill ran through the room. Adrian set his glass down slowly. Vanessa, she turned away, walking back toward the window. You should go to her, she said. Fix your marriage. He hesitated. Are you sure? Vanessa looked over her shoulder, and the look in her eyes was dangerous. Absolutely. A pause. Then she added quietly, go back to your wife, and let's see how long that lasts. Welcome back. If you're just joining, go grab your popcorn because things are about to get intense. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss any part of this story. The morning sun crept slowly over the city, casting golden light across Adrian's office. But inside, everything felt cold. Adrian hadn't slept. Not really. Vanessa's last words echoed in his head over and over again. Go back to your wife, and let's see how long that lasts. There was something in her voice, something unsettling. But right now, he had something more important to face. Her. The woman he once vowed forever to. The woman he thought he had lost. The woman who was now back. Adrian stood in front of the large glass doors of the private lounge, his reflection staring back at him. For the first time in a long time, he looked unsure. Then, the door opened, and she walked in, calm, composed, elegant, dressed in a simple but stunning cream outfit that whispered class and power without trying too hard. Her heels clicked softly against the floor, each step steady, controlled. She hadn't changed. Or maybe she had changed in all the ways that mattered. Adrian swallowed. Clara? Her eyes met his. No anger, no tears, just clarity. Adrian? Her voice was soft, but firm, like someone who had already made peace with something painful. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The air between them carried years of love and betrayal. Adrian stepped forward. You came. Clara gave a small nod. You asked me to. Simple. Direct. No emotion wasted. Adrian ran a hand through his hair, clearly nervous. I didn't think you would. Clara's lips curved slightly, not into a smile, but something close to it. You didn't think I'd come back, or you didn't think I still had the right to? That question hit deeper than anything Vanessa had said the night before. Adrian looked down briefly. I never took that right from you. Clara raised an eyebrow. Didn't you? Silence, sharp, unforgiving. She walked past him, taking a seat like she owned the room. Because once upon a time, she did. Adrian turned slowly. I made mistakes. Clara let out a soft breath. Mistakes? She repeated. Is that what we're calling it now? Adrian hesitated. I was hurt, Clara. You left. I didn't leave, she cut in calmly. That stopped him completely. Clara leaned forward slightly. I walked away from a man who stopped seeing me, she said. There's a difference. Adrian frowned. That's not fair. Fair? She echoed softly. You want to talk about fair? Her eyes locked onto his. And the woman you replaced me with, was that fair? There it was, Vanessa, the unspoken truth now sitting between them. Adrian didn't deny it, couldn't. Clara nodded slowly. I see, she said. At least you're honest about that. It didn't mean anything, Adrian said quickly. Clara held up a hand. Don't, she said. He stopped. I didn't come here for excuses. Then why did you come? He asked quietly. Clara leaned back in her seat, studying him. For closure, she said. That word felt like a door slamming shut. Adrian's chest tightened. Closure? He repeated. Clara nodded. Yes, I needed to see if there was anything left worth saving. Hope flickered in his eyes. And is there? She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she stood up slowly, walking toward him, each step deliberate, measured, until she was standing right in front of him, close enough to feel his breath, close enough to remember everything. Clara looked into his eyes, searching, not for love, but for truth. I don't know, she said finally. Adrian exhaled, relief and tension mixing together. That's something. Clara tilted her head slightly. But understand this, Adrian, she added, her voice dropping just a little. If there is anything left, it won't survive lies. Adrian nodded quickly. No more lies. Clara held his gaze for a second longer, then stepped back. Good, she said. The game begins. Across town, Vanessa wasn't crying anymore. She wasn't pacing. She wasn't broken. She was planning. Her phone rested on the table in front of her. On the screen, a photo. Adrian and Clara, from years ago. Happy, perfect, disgustingly perfect. Vanessa stared at it, her jaw tightening. So, this is the woman, she muttered. She zoomed in on Clara's face. Elegant, graceful, untouchable. Vanessa scoffed. We'll see about that. Her finger hovered over another contact. Then, she pressed call. The line rang once, twice. Then, hello? A deep voice answered. Vanessa smiled slowly. I need a favor, a pause. What kind of favor? Vanessa leaned back, crossing her legs. The kind that ruins a marriage. Silence on the other end. Then a low chuckle. I'm listening. Vanessa's smile widened. Back at Adrian's office, things seemed calmer on the surface. Clara stood near the window looking out over the city. Adrian watched her carefully. You look different, he said. Clara didn't turn. People change. You didn't, he said softly. Not where it matters. Clara smiled faintly. You don't know me anymore, Adrian. He stepped closer. Then let me learn again. That made her pause, just for a second. Before she could respond, her phone rang. Clara glanced at the screen. Unknown number. She hesitated. Sup then answered. Hello. There was silence. Then a voice. Soft. Female. Familiar. Hi, Clara. Clara's expression shifted instantly. Who is this? A quiet laugh came through the line. Oh, I think you already know. Clara's grip tightened on the phone. Vanessa. Adrian noticed the change in her face. What is it? He asked. Clara raised a hand, silencing him. What do you want? She asked coldly. Vanessa's voice was almost playful. I just wanted to introduce myself properly. Clara's eyes darkened. I'm not interested. Oh, but you should be, Vanessa replied smoothly. After all, I've been living your life. That did it. Adrian stepped closer. Clara, she turned away from him, focusing on the call. Say what you called to say, Clara snapped. Vanessa's tone dropped slightly, more serious now. Be careful, Clara, she said, a pause. Then, some things are better left buried. The line went dead. Clara slowly lowered the phone. Her heart was racing, but her face, still calm, too calm. Adrian frowned. What was that about? Clara turned to him, and for the first time since she walked in, there was something dangerous in her eyes. That, she said quietly, was your mistake calling me. Welcome back, family. If you've been following this story, you already know things are getting dangerous. This isn't just love anymore. This is power, betrayal, and revenge. So sit back, relax, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe because this part changes everything. The silence before the storm. The room felt different after that call, heavier, like the walls themselves had heard something they weren't supposed to. Adrian stared at Clara, searching her face for answers, but she had already turned away, composed, controlled, untouchable. Clara, he said carefully, what did she mean by that? No response. She walked back to the window, folding her arms, her reflection staring back at her. Adrian stepped closer. You're scaring me. That made her pause, just slightly. Then she spoke, still not turning around. You should be scared, Adrian. His chest tightened. Of her? Clara shook her head slowly. No, a beat of the truth. Adrian frowned. The truth about what? Clara finally turned. And this time there was no softness left in her eyes, only something deeper, something painful. You think I left you, she said. You did, Adrian replied, frustration creeping into his voice. You walked away without a real explanation. I was protecting you. That stopped him cold. What? Clara stepped closer. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you, she said quietly. I left because staying would have destroyed you. Adrian shook his head. That doesn't make any sense. It will, she said, if you listen for once instead of assuming. He went silent. Clara took a breath, as if preparing herself to reopen a wound she had spent years trying to heal. Do you remember the deal you signed 5 years ago? She asked. Adrian frowned, thinking, there were many deals. This one involved a private investor, she said. Someone who preferred to stay in the shadows. Something clicked. His expression shifted. The Blackridge contract. Clara nodded. Yes, Adrian scoffed lightly. That deal built half of what I own today. And nearly destroyed the other half, she replied. He stared at her. What are you talking about? Clara's voice lowered. Do you even know who funded that deal? Adrian hesitated. It was anonymous. Exactly. A heavy silence fell. Then Clara delivered the words that changed everything. It wasn't anonymous to me. Adrian's heartbeat quickened. Who was it? Clara held his gaze. Vanessa. The world seemed to tilt. Adrian blinked. Once, twice, as if trying to process what he had just heard. That's not possible, he said flatly. Clara didn't flinch. It is. No, he insisted, shaking his head. Vanessa didn't even have money back then. She was struggling when I met her. Clara's lips curved slightly. And you believed that? Adrian's chest rose and fell. Yes. Clara let out a quiet breath. That was your first mistake. Adrian stepped back, running a hand through his hair. This doesn't make sense. Why would she... To get close to you, Clara cut in. And for what? Clara's eyes darkened. Control. The word lingered in the air. Cold, sharp, unsettling. Adrian laughed nervously. This is insane. I wish it was. Clara walked toward him slowly. Vanessa didn't just walk into your life by accident, Adrian, she said. She planned it. No, he said again, but this time there was doubt. Clara saw it and pressed further. She studied you, your business, your habits, even your weaknesses. Adrian's mind flashed back, the way Vanessa had always known what to say, what to do, how to comfort him, how to pull him in, how to become exactly what he needed. No, he whispered. Clara's voice softened slightly. I found out by accident, she continued. A financial trail that didn't make sense, money moving through shells leading back to one name. Vanessa, Adrian said under his breath. Clara nodded. I confronted her. Adrian looked up sharply. You did what? That's why I left, she said. The room went silent again, but this time it wasn't confusion, it was realization. Adrian's voice dropped. Tell me everything. Clara hesitated, then nodded. It was late, she began. You were out of town. I was in your study going through some documents. The house was quiet, too quiet. Clara sat at the desk, flipping through files, numbers, accounts, transactions. At first it looked normal, until it didn't. One transfer stood out, then another, then a pattern. Clara's heart began to race. This doesn't make sense, she whispered. She traced the transactions, from one account to another, until finally a name appeared. Vanessa Hale. Clara froze. No. Her hands trembled as she dug deeper. More records, more connections, more lies. By the time she finished, there was no doubt left. Vanessa wasn't just involved, she was behind it. All of it. Clara grabbed her phone immediately, dialed a number. Hello? Vanessa's voice answered. Sweet, calm, fake. Clara, she said, almost surprised. Is everything okay? Clara's voice was ice. We need to talk. Later that night, Vanessa stood in the living room, unbothered, unshaken. As Clara faced her, holding the evidence. You lied to us, Clara said. Vanessa smiled. About what? Clara threw the documents on the table. Don't play games. Vanessa glanced at them briefly, then back at Clara, still smiling. You're smarter than I thought, she said. That was it. No denial, no fear, just admission. Clara's heart dropped. Why, she demanded. Why, Adrian? Vanessa tilted her head. Because men like him are easy. Clara's hands clenched. You used him. I elevated him, Vanessa corrected. Without me, he wouldn't be where he is today. And you think that justifies this? Vanessa stepped closer. I think power justifies everything. Clara's voice shook, but not from fear, from anger. You're sick. Vanessa leaned in slightly. And you're in my way. Those words sent a chill through Clara's entire body. What does that mean? Vanessa's smile faded, just a little. It means, she said softly, you should leave while you still can. Back in the present, Adrian stood frozen, his entire world shattered. "You left to protect me," he said slowly. Clara nodded. "I knew if I stayed and fought her directly, she'd destroy everything you built, and you'd never believe me without proof strong enough to survive her." Adrian's eyes filled with regret. "So instead, you let me hate you." Clara's expression softened for the first time. "I let you live." That broke him, completely. Adrian turned away, gripping the edge of the table. "I chose her," he whispered. Clara said nothing, because there was nothing to say. After a long moment, Adrian looked up again, his eyes no longer confused, no longer unsure. Now they were filled with something else, anger, cold, focused. "Where is she?" he asked. Clara's gaze sharpened. "Adrian, where is she?" he repeated. Clara studied him carefully. "She won't go down easily." Adrian's jaw tightened. "I don't care." A pause, then Clara nodded slowly. "Then you better be ready." Her voice dropped, because this isn't just about love anymore. Vanessa stood on the balcony of the penthouse. The wind blew softly against her hair. Her phone buzzed. A message. "It's done." Vanessa smiled. Perfect. She looked out over the city lights, calm, confident, unaware that the game she started was about to turn against her. Welcome back, family. Now you know the truth, but the truth comes with consequences. What happens when a man realizes he's been played? And what happens when the woman who played him refuses to lose? Get ready, because this part, it's explosive. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Adrian didn't wait. The moment Clara finished speaking, he was already moving. "Adrian, wait," Clara called after him. But he was done waiting. Done doubting. Done being manipulated. "I won't let her get away with this," he said, grabbing his keys. Clara stepped in front of him, blocking his path. "And walking into her trap is your solution?" she asked sharply. Adrian froze. Trap. That word again. Clara's eyes locked onto his. "You think you're the only one who just realized the truth?" she continued. "Vanessa has been 10 steps ahead of you from the beginning." Adrian's jaw tightened. "I'm not afraid of her." Clara shook her head slowly. "This isn't about fear. It's about strategy." He exhaled, frustrated. "So what do you want me to do? Sit back while she destroys everything?" Clara stepped closer. "No," she said firmly. "I want you to think." Silence. Heavy. Then Adrian nodded slightly. "Okay," he said, "then we do this your way." Clara studied him for a moment, making sure he was finally ready to listen. "Good," she said quietly, "because if we're going after Vanessa," her voice dropped, "we do it right. Across the city." Vanessa sat in a dimly lit lounge, her fingers tapping slowly against the glass of her drink. Calm, unbothered, in control, or so she believed. The man across from her leaned back in his chair. "You're sure this will work?" he asked. Vanessa smirked. "It already is." He raised an eyebrow. "Adrian doesn't strike me as the type to go down quietly." Vanessa chuckled softly. "He won't," she said. "That's the point." She leaned forward slightly. "I need him emotional, angry, reckless." And then Vanessa's smile darkened. "Then he makes a mistake." The man studied her. "And the wife?" Vanessa's eyes flickered just for a second, then steadied. "She's stronger than I expected," she admitted. A pause. "But everyone has a weakness." "And hers?" Vanessa lifted her glass slowly. "Adrian." Back at Adrian's office, Clara spread several documents across the table. Financial records, transaction histories, names, connections, everything she had been building quietly over the years. Adrian stared at them, overwhelmed. "You've been tracking her this whole time?" he asked. Clara nodded. "I never stopped." "Why didn't you come back sooner?" Clara looked at him. "Would you have believed me?" He didn't answer, because they both knew the truth. No, he wouldn't have. Adrian sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I was blind." "You were human," Clara corrected. He looked up at her. "And now?" Clara's expression hardened. "Now you decide what kind of man you want to be." That hit differently. Adrian straightened, focused, determined. "Tell me what to do." Clara pointed to one of the files. "This account," she said, "it's one of Vanessa's primary channels. She uses it to move money through her network." Adrian leaned closer. "Can we trace it?" Clara nodded. "Yes, but more importantly," she looked at him, "we can use it." Adrian frowned. "How?" Clara's lips curved slightly. "We feed her something she can't ignore." Later that evening, Vanessa's phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. "We need to talk. I know what you did. Meet me tonight." Alone. Vanessa stared at the screen, her expression unreadable. Then, she smiled. "Finally," she whispered. The man beside her leaned over. "What is it?" Vanessa stood, grabbing her coat. Adrian took the bait. The warehouse was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that made your instincts scream. Adrian stood in the shadows, his eyes scanning every corner. Clara's voice echoed in his mind. Don't trust anything you see. Don't react emotionally. And whatever happens, don't lose control. He inhaled slowly. Then, footsteps. Soft, confident, familiar. Vanessa emerged from the darkness. Elegant as ever, dangerous as always. I was wondering how long it would take, she said, her voice smooth. Adrian stepped forward. You set me up, Vanessa tilted her head. Did I? Don't play games. He snapped. Vanessa smiled. I never play, she said. I win. Adrian clenched his fists. Why? He demanded. Why go this far? Vanessa walked closer, slowly, deliberately. Because I saw something in you, she said. Something powerful. And you decided to control it? I decided to shape it. Adrian shook his head. You destroyed everything. Vanessa stopped just inches away from him. No, she said softly. I built everything. A tense silence followed. Then Adrian spoke again, lower, colder. It's over, Vanessa. For the first time, she laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, Adrian, she said almost gently. It's just getting started. Suddenly, lights flooded the warehouse, blinding. Adrian squinted. What the? Then he heard it. Footsteps. Multiple. Closing in. His heart dropped. Vanessa stepped back slowly, still smiling. You really thought you were in control tonight, she asked. Figures emerged from the shadows. Men surrounding him. Adrian's jaw tightened. You set me up. Vanessa shrugged lightly. You walked in on your own. Adrian's fists clenched. You're making a mistake. Vanessa's expression darkened. No, she said coldly. My only mistake, she stepped closer again, her voice dropping to a whisper, was underestimating how long it would take you to figure it out. Adrian's mind raced. Clara warned him, and he still walked into it. Damn, Vanessa nodded toward the men. Take him. They moved in. Fast. Adrian fought. Hard. But there were too many. Within seconds, he was restrained, forced to his knees. Vanessa stood over him, looking down, victorious. Power, she said softly, isn't about who has it. She crouched slightly, meeting his eyes. It's about who understands it. Adrian glared at her. You won't get away with this. Vanessa smiled. Watch me. Just as the tension peaked, a loud noise echoed. Gunshot. Everyone froze. One of the lights shattered above, darkness flickered. Then, a voice. Cold, steady. Familiar. Let him go. Vanessa's smile faded. Slowly, she turned. Standing at the entrance was Clara. Clara stepped forward, her presence commanding the entire room. Her eyes locked onto Vanessa. No fear, no hesitation, only purpose. You should have stayed hidden, Vanessa said, her tone sharpening. Clara didn't slow down. You should have finished what you started, she replied. The tension between them? Electric. Deadly. Vanessa straightened. You came alone? Clara's lips curved slightly. What do you think? A pause, then sirens. Loud. Closing in. Vanessa's expression changed instantly. Just for a second. But it was enough. Clara stopped a few feet away. It's over, she said calmly. Vanessa let out a slow breath. Then she smiled again. But this time, it wasn't confidence. It was something darker, more desperate. You really think this ends tonight? She asked. Clara's gaze hardened. It already has. Welcome back, family. We're getting close to the end, and if you thought things couldn't get more intense, you're not ready for this. This part isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about consequences, truth, and the price of every choice made. So sit back, relax, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. The sound of sirens tore through the night like a warning from fate itself. Vanessa didn't panic, not immediately. She stood there, her eyes locked on Clara, calculating, always calculating. Adrian was still on his knees, held tightly by two men, his breathing heavy, his mind racing. Clara, he muttered under his breath. She didn't look at him. Not yet. Her focus was on one person only, Vanessa. It's over, Clara repeated calmly. Vanessa let out a soft chuckle, shaking her head slowly. You always did have a flair for dramatic endings, she said. Clara's expression didn't change. This isn't drama, she replied. It's reality. The sirens grew louder, closing in. Vanessa glanced toward the entrance for just a split second. That was all she needed. Her men noticed, and in that tiny moment of distraction, everything exploded. Move, one of them shouted. Chaos erupted. Adrian broke free, just enough to shove one man aside. Another grabbed him again, but Adrian fought back harder this time, fueled by anger, by betrayal, by truth. Clara stepped forward sharply. Adrian, get down! A loud bang echoed. Glass shattered. One of the overhead lights burst. Darkness flickered again. Vanessa stepped back into the shadows, her voice cutting through the chaos. Fall back! Her men obeyed instantly. Disciplined. Prepared. Within seconds, they began retreating. Adrian struggled forward. No, she's getting away. But Clara grabbed his arm. Stop! He turned to her, furious. She can't escape again. Clara's grip tightened. She already planned for this. Another crash. A side door slammed open. By the time the police stormed in, Vanessa was gone. Silence. Heavy. Unsettling. The warehouse now filled with flashing red and blue lights. Officers moved quickly, securing the area, arresting the men who didn't escape. Adrian stood still, breathing hard, eyes scanning the empty space where Vanessa had been just seconds ago. She slipped through, he said bitterly. Clara stood beside him, quiet, watching, thinking. She didn't slip, she said. She executed. Adrian turned sharply. You knew this could happen. Clara didn't deny it. Yes. And you still came? Clara looked at him then. Finally, I came to end it. Adrian laughed dryly. Does this look like the end to you? Clara's gaze didn't waver. No, she said softly. This is the beginning of her downfall. Hours later, Adrian sat alone in his office, the same walls, but everything felt different now, empty, cold, broken. He stared at his reflection in the glass again, but this time, he didn't recognize the man staring back. A knock came at the door. He didn't respond. Still, it opened. Clara stepped in. She didn't say anything at first. She just watched him, taking in the weight he was carrying. You should rest, she said finally. Adrian let out a hollow laugh. Rest, he repeated. After everything I just found out? Clara walked closer. You won't think clearly like this. Adrian turned to her, his eyes filled with something deeper now. Regret. I chose her, he said. Clara didn't speak. I defended her, he continued. I pushed you away, for her. His voice cracked slightly. He stopped. Couldn't finish. Clara stepped closer. You don't have to say it, she said gently. Yes, I do, he replied, looking at her. His voice dropped. I broke us. That silence that followed, it wasn't anger, it wasn't blame, it was something heavier. Truth. Clara exhaled slowly. You didn't break us alone, she said. Adrian frowned. What do you mean? Clara looked away briefly, as if debating whether to say what came next. Then, she did. I should have trusted you with the truth back then, she admitted. Adrian blinked. What? I made the decision for both of us, she said. I thought I was protecting you, but I also took away your choice. Adrian shook his head. No, you were trying to save me. And you deserve to know, she replied. Their eyes met, and for the first time, they weren't enemies, they weren't strangers. They were just two people who had lost their way. Do you still love me? The question slipped out before Adrian could stop it. Clara froze, just for a moment. Then slowly, she turned to him. That's not a simple question, she said quietly. Adrian stepped closer. It is for me. Clara's heart tightened. Adrian, I never stopped, he said. Those words hung in the air, raw, unfiltered, real. Clara looked at him, really looked at him, and for a second, her walls cracked, just a little. But love isn't enough, she said softly. Adrian's expression fell. It used to be. Clara shook her head. No, she said, we just thought it was. Silence again. Then she stepped back, creating distance, not just physically, emotionally. We have bigger things to deal with right now, she added. Adrian nodded slowly, reality settling back in. Vanessa. Clara's eyes darkened. Yes, Clara walked toward the table, pulling out one last file, one Adrian hadn't seen yet. What's that? He asked. Clara hesitated, then placed it in front of him. The last piece. Adrian opened it slowly, his eyes scanned the contents. Then he froze. What is this? Clara's voice was steady. It's her endgame. Adrian looked up, confused, concerned. Explain. Clara took a breath. Vanessa isn't just after your company, she said. She's after everything tied to your name. Adrian frowned. I don't understand. Clara stepped closer. She's planning to frame you. Silence. Dead silence. For what? He asked. Clara's voice dropped. Financial crimes, fraud, money laundering. Adrian's heart stopped. That's insane. She has the evidence, Clara replied. No, she doesn't. She created it. That hit harder than anything else. Adrian staggered back slightly. She's been building this for years, Clara continued. Every deal, every transaction, she's been setting you up to take the fall. Adrian's hands trembled slightly. And when it all collapses, Clara added quietly, she walks away clean. Adrian closed the file slowly, his mind spinning, his world collapsing all over again. So what do we do? He asked. Clara looked at him. This was it, the moment that would decide everything. We finish it, she said. Adrian's eyes hardened. How? Clara stepped closer, her voice low, precise. We beat her at her own game. A pause, then she added, but this time. Her gaze locked onto his. We don't make any mistakes. Across the city, Vanessa stood in front of a mirror, calm, collected, untouched. She adjusted her outfit slightly, her reflection staring back at her, perfect as always. Her phone rang. She answered. Is it done? She asked. A voice replied, almost. Vanessa smiled. Good. She hung up slowly, then looked at herself one last time. They think they're catching up, she whispered. Her smile deepened. They have no idea. Her eyes darkened. They're already too late. Sit back, relax. This is the ending you've been waiting for. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because stories like this, you don't want to miss them. The room was silent. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that comes before a storm breaks. Adrian stood across from Clara, the weight of everything pressing down on him. Tell me the plan, he said. Clara didn't hesitate this time. She thinks she's already won, Clara began. That's her biggest weakness. Adrian nodded slowly. She's always 10 steps ahead. Clara's eyes sharpened. Then we stopped trying to catch up. A pause. Adrian frowned slightly. What do you mean? Clara stepped closer, her voice calm, calculated. We let her believe she's ahead while we take control of the ending. Adrian's expression shifted. Understanding. So we don't chase her. Clara finished his thought. We draw her out. The next morning, news broke across every major outlet. Adrian Cole under investigation for financial fraud and money laundering. The headlines spread like wildfire. Social media exploded. Investors panicked. Phones rang nonstop. Inside his office, Adrian sat calmly, watching it all unfold. Clara stood by the window, arms folded. You ready for this? She asked. Adrian exhaled slowly. No, a beat. But I trust you. Clara glanced at him. That meant more than he knew. Across the city, Vanessa stared at the news on her screen, and for the first time, she frowned. This is too easy, she murmured. Her instincts kicked in, sharp, alert, suspicious. No, she whispered, this isn't how it was supposed to go. Her phone buzzed. A message. He's going down faster than expected. Vanessa's eyes narrowed. Or he wants me to think that. She stood up immediately. Prepare the backup plan, she said coldly. By afternoon, Adrian was officially summoned for questioning. The pressure was real now. The danger, very real. As officers escorted him out of the building, cameras flashed, voices shouted. Mr. Cole, are the accusations true? Did you steal from your own company? Were you involved in illegal transactions? Adrian said nothing, not a single word, because this was part of the plan. Inside the car, he finally spoke. She's watching, he said. Clara, seated beside him, nodded. Yes. Adrian turned slightly. And she's waiting for me to break. Clara's lips curved faintly. Then let's disappoint her. Night fell. The city lights flickered alive once again. And somewhere in the shadows, Vanessa made her move. She entered the private financial archive building quietly, dressed in black, focused, precise. This was her final step. The last piece of evidence she needed to seal Adrian's fate forever. Or so she thought. As she accessed the secured system, a smirk crossed her lips. Goodbye, Adrian, she whispered. But then, a voice behind her, calm, familiar, unshaken. I was hoping you'd come. Vanessa froze. Slowly, she turned, and there they were, Adrian and Clara, standing together, waiting. Vanessa's eyes flickered between them. For the first time, something cracked. Not fear, but realization. You planned this, she said slowly. Clara stepped forward. Yes. Adrian's voice followed. You wanted me exposed. He took a step closer. So we gave you exactly what you wanted. Vanessa let out a soft laugh. Impressive. But her eyes, still calculating, still searching for a way out. You still can't prove anything, she said. Clara smiled slightly. Actually, she held up a small device. We already did. Vanessa's expression changed. What is that? Adrian's voice turned cold. Everything you just tried to do, every file you accessed, every move you made, a pause. It's all recorded. Silence. Heavy. Final. Vanessa's mind raced. Fast. Too fast. You think this ends me? She said, her voice sharpening. Clara's gaze didn't waver. No, she replied. You ended yourself. Sirens echoed again. Closer this time. No escape routes. No backup plan. No more shadows to hide in. Vanessa stood still. Then slowly, she started laughing. Not softly. Not nervously. But wildly. You think you've won? She said. Adrian's jaw tightened. It's over, Vanessa. Her laughter stopped instantly. Her eyes locked onto his. Cold. Sharp. Dangerous. No, she said quietly. You were just the beginning. Adrian frowned. What does that mean? Vanessa smiled one last time. You'll spend the rest of your life wondering. A pause. How many more like me are out there? Before anyone could react, she reached into her pocket. Adrian stepped forward. Vanessa, don't. But it was too late. She dropped the device. Smoke burst into the air. Officers rushed in. Chaos erupted again, but this time, there was nowhere left to run. Within seconds, Vanessa was restrained, cuffed, defeated. Weeks later, the truth was public. Every lie, every setup, every manipulation cleared. Adrian was free, but freedom didn't feel the same. He stood on the balcony of his office once again, looking over the city. Clara walked out to join him, quietly. You're thinking again, she said. Adrian nodded. I almost lost everything. Clara corrected softly. You almost lost yourself. He looked at her. And you saved me. Clara shook her head. No, she said. You finally chose to see. A long silence passed between them. Then Adrian spoke. Where does this leave us? Clara looked out at the city, thinking, feeling, choosing her words carefully. We can't go back, she said. Adrian's chest tightened. I know. A pause. Then Clara turned to him. But that doesn't mean we can't move forward. Hope. Small, but real. Adrian stepped closer. Together? Clara held his gaze for a long moment. Then she nodded, slowly. Vanessa sat alone in a prison cell, silent, still, but not broken. Her eyes stared ahead, empty, yet burning. A guard walked past. You had everything, he muttered. Why throw it away? Vanessa didn't respond immediately. Then finally, she spoke, cold, calm, certain. My only mistake. A pause. Her lips curved slightly. Was underestimating them. Now it's your turn, family. What did you learn from this story? That not every love story is real? That power without loyalty destroys everything? Or that sometimes the biggest mistake isn't falling in love, but trusting the wrong person? Drop your lessons in the comments. We want to hear from you. Like if this story kept you hooked, comment your favorite part, share with someone who loves drama, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. See you in the next story.